You might have seen that there's a new edition of Horus Heresy on the way, so I thought what better time than now to show you how I would paint all of the Horus Heresy legions in my Grimdark style, and we're going to start with the secretive Dark Angels. For this video, I'm going to be using one of the Mark IV Space Marines. What we've done is we've primed it in black. You can use any black primer. I've used Vallejo Model Air Black, and you can see it's a little bit dusty. That's, yeah, my fault. Sorry about that. But it's not going to cause any issues. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to apply the transfers, and I'm going to be using two products to do this. So as usual, we'll take our transfers, we'll put them onto a piece of tissue paper that's been soaked in water, and then we'll put some water on top, obviously just to loosen the transfers off from the sheet. Now the first of the products is this one, which is Micro Set. And what we're going to do is just take a brush, soak it in the Micro Set, straight out the bottle, and put it onto the area where we're going to apply the transfers. We use a brush and slide the transfer off of the transfer paper, pop it onto the area, and then we take some more Micro Set and put it on top. Just move the transfer into position where you want it to be, and just wick up some of the excess Micro Set from there. So once it's in position, if the transfer isn't lying flat still, so you can see here we've got some extra bits which are standing up, we can take the second product, which is Micro Sol, and this is a bit more of a stronger softener. So we're just going to take that on our brush and we're going to apply it over the transfer, and this is going to soften up the transfer and let it stick to the irregular surface better. All we do is take our brush into the Micro Sol and just apply it over the top. Once the transfers are done, you can see that there's still a little bit of a shine around them, so we're going to give the whole model a spray with matte varnish. This is Vallejo matte varnish, just pushed through the airbrush. Once we've done that, we're onto our other base coats. We're going to take lead belcher and we're going to paint that onto any of the metal parts. Then we're going to take corn red and we're just going to paint in a couple of details. So we can do this knee pad here, and we can do like the little tube things on his ankles. Then we're going to take Mechanica Standard Grey, and we're going to paint this into the armor joints, so like the back of the legs. Then we're going to give all of these areas a wash with Nuln Oil just to give them a bit of extra definition. Now with that done, we've got all our base coats down, and we're going to get onto griming it up good and proper. If you've seen my other videos before, this will probably be pretty familiar to you. We're going to spray the whole model with MIG Streaking Grime. This is an all-over thick coat, and then we're going to take some enamel thinner and a cotton bud and soak the cotton bud in the enamel thinner and roll it across the model to reduce it down. Once we've done that, we're then going to take the dry side of a cotton bud and roll it across just to remove any excess. Then we're going to take some MIG Dark Streaking Grime, and we're just going to splash this over the armour, particularly the black bits of armour, maybe some of the metal bits, but not particularly. This is going to give some varieties to the grime, and just make the armour that little bit more interesting. It's going to give them a slight green tinge, which is obviously going to play in very well with them being Dark Angels. At this point, the model is looking pretty rubbish, but don't worry, it'll all be fine. Then we're going to take a cotton bud and we're just going to remove some of that excess from the model. The next step is to take some streaking rust effects from MIG, and I'm just going to place that on a couple of like the metal bits and some of the black armour. We don't want to go overboard here, just like a couple of touches here and there goes a long way. And then we're going to do the same with a couple of drops of Troll Slayer Orange, just a few tiny dabs here and there just to add a bit of a bright rust effect in there. Okay, now I've given the whole model a dry off with a hot hairdryer. So you can see all the grime has dried nicely. We've got some nice variation in the armour tones there, but one thing we have done is we've lost a bit of the definition in the armour. So the next product we're going to use is going to add that definition back in. This is Black Enamel Wash by MIG. Anywhere you want some extra definition, you can just place some of this, and when it dries, it won't dry as like a very thick black. It's quite a thin black colour, so it just adds that like subtle definition that you need for any like gaps in armour or any rivets you want to line up. Once that's dried, that's the majority of our armour done. So we're going to get onto the eyes. And the first step is we're going to paint the whole of the eye lens with corn red. After the corn red, we're going to use Mephiston red, and we're going to start in the inner corner of the eye lens, and we're going to paint almost like a crescent circle going out towards the back along the bottom edge of the eye lens. At this step, we probably want to use half of the eye lens in Mephiston red. After the Mephiston red, we're going to do the same thing but with Evilson Scarlet, and we're just going to paint within that Mephiston red semicircle that we've just done. We're then going to do the same with Trollslayer Orange, and at this point we're just painting a very thin line along the bottom edge of the eye lens. Next up, we're going to use Irial Yellow, and again, just a very, very thin line if you can along the top of that Trollslayer Orange. The final step is we're going to take some pure white, and we're just going to put some little shine dots in the back corners of the eye lenses. So with that done, we're on to basing. You can use any base that you like, of course. I'm going to use my standard muddy base for this. We start off with Vallejo European Thick Mud, and we're going to layer that across the whole of the base of the model. When this dries, it's going to dry rock solid, so what we can do is add in a few little bits and pieces like some bricks and some barbed wire into there, and once it dries, those are going to be sealed in tight. To add some extra interest to this, what I do is take MIG Dark Streaking Grime on a paintbrush, and I use the airbrush to blow or to spatter the paint onto the base of the model, onto the legs. If you haven't got an airbrush, what you can do is use a straw and blow on the end of the brush, or you can use a toothpick and flick the end of the brush, and it creates a similar effect. I'm going to do it the whole way around the model with the Dark Streaking Grime, and then we're going to do the same but with MIG Kursk Soil. Last step, we're going to clean up the base and paint it in black. Use the enamel thinner to remove any enamel paints that you've got on the base, wait for that to dry, and then paint it in black. And there you have it. That's our Dark Angels model completed. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. As I said, this is the first in a series of videos where I'm going to be showing you how to paint all of the Horus Heresy Legions in my style. If you did like the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps massively, and hopefully you'll come back to watch the rest of the Legion videos. Next up, we've got the Emperor's Children. Thanks very much, guys. See you next time.